Good evening, broker life. Good evening, broker family. Broker's Playbook in the house. Laura, what's up?
Sup, Simeon? What's up? I'm so happy to be here again. 2 weeks just flew by. It just flew by. I can't believe we're back with our second official episode of Broker's Playbook. This time, it's not the Simeon and Laura show. We got a couple wicked guests.
Yeah, man. We got some industry heavyweights. Very excited. I was able to get those promotions, those graphics out in the last few days after we locked in Dan and after we locked in Shawn. Dan Cooper is a household name in Oakville and Burlington, Ontario. I mean, he's going to share 25, 30 years of industry knowledge. He's been at the top of the game. Canada's #1 broker. I don't know, 5, 7, what the number is. It's something crazy. I was with him this week. We met on a business matter, and I said, Dan, would you mind sharing some of your secret sauce with the audience of Broker's Playbook? And of course, he didn't hesitate. He wants to see the industry elevate. He's a tremendously resourceful and a tremendously accessible guy. So he's joining us tonight. And then, of course, CEO of Matrix Global, Laura, why don't you tell us a little bit about Shawn?
Yeah, Shawn Allen is on his way to the meeting. Of course, there's always the expected technical difficulties. And Shawn got me started in the business. He is the founder and CEO of Matrix Mortgage Global, which is Canada's top private lending brokerage. We're one of Canada's largest brokerages, and we are right across Canada. Our focus is alternative and private lending. Our team is 100 strong. We're absolutely here for marketing. We're here for gender equality and diversity. And I would say that we're some movers and shakers in the industry that are trying to make an impact on everyone, whether you're with Matrix or not. You know, this is part of our ethos. We're here to make the industry bigger and better and help it adapt to the new environments, new technologies, new ways of selling, new regulatory requirements, and things like that. So Shawn has always been a visionary, a thought leader, and he's always been extremely supportive of those around him, whether you work with him or not. He's always available to, you know, to advise and to help you through things. So hopefully Shawn will join us very shortly.
I see Shawn is here. Shawn, welcome to Broker's Playbook, brother. I've never had the pleasure of meeting you in person. I really look forward in definitely working with you as we level up this whole show and we level up this whole industry. I think that's huge. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much. How's everything with you guys?
Everything's good here. I understand that a scheduling conflict, we're going to have you kind of go down the path first, as you have some conflicts coming up at 8:30, 8:40.
Yes.
So I thank you for making the time to come here. And our guest Dan was very okay with making the change. His evening is a little bit more flexible, so there's no issue at all, man. Welcome to the show, dude.
Thank you very much. And you know, with all these conference calls, these Zoom calls, today this is my 9th one for the day.
Nice.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it can get a little exhausting, can it?
It can, but you got to keep going. You got to persevere, right? So, you know, I'm not complaining. I could have, you know, nothing to do. So this is actually very good.
I'm not gonna lie. Laura dropped a couple of hints at what you're trying to do in the industry. Between her, she feels very strongly about gender equality. I think all of us can attest to feeling about minority and the marginalization in the business, and how everybody feels about being in the business that was typically an all-white Anglo-Saxon business for decades. And then in the last 20 years, things took a turn. Obviously, I'm Greek. And when I first moved to Canada, I faced certain challenges, but I definitely don't share in the challenges of being a visible minority. So I definitely get away with, or not anymore at this point, nothing really affect me other than my own mindset. But I do remember the days of my last name affecting job interviews, of my last name affecting the way I was looked at a listing presentation. So I don't really want to go down too much, but the days right now, the last 4 or 5 days, that's a fucking topic. And yeah, you can swear on Broker's Playbook.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
I mean,
It's
I
my
got
show.
I got a CEO, the founder of Global Matrix, Brokerage of the Year, 2 years running. You're a black man, Laura, clearly a woman of color. Why don't you drop your 2 cents on the shit show that's going on and what you're doing today to inspire your son, your nephew, your cousin, your brother, me? What are you doing, man?
Well, you know what? It's all about education. And I've been a big proponent of education from day one. And the only reason I got to where I am is because, I took the time to learn and master my craft. And to tell you the honest truth, for the longest time, when I first started in the industry, I had a picture of a white guy as my LinkedIn profile. And then
Yeah,
as I
true.
started,
Fuck.
That's all
so
true. It's all true.
you know what I mean? So as I started to, change and, get more notoriety and more success in my business. And I think I got top 75 brokerage. I was like, yeah, I got to show people who I am. And then, it started to go up from there. So, there were some challenges, but, I never try to blame anyone for anything, like just like you said, right? Yeah, there's some challenges, but at the end of the day, it's what's in you and what are you going to do about that to make it better. So right now my big push is just getting people to register a business. It's very important, and I'm doing stuff outside the mortgage industry now. I'm pretty secure in my position. If I don't win another Broker of the Year, I'm fine. If I don't hit the Profit 500 again, I'm fine. I'm very comfortable. Less is more right now. I'm not trying to be, this multi-billionaire mortgage broker. That's not my play right now. My play is more community involvement. I'm very big in the community. I'm on the board of directors for the Scarborough Business Association. Right now we're helping, and I just did a webinar this morning. My first webinar this morning was about helping small business restaurants, giving them tools to prepare for opening back with COVID regulations. So, one of my favorite restaurants, Pantheon, which is on the Danforth, you know Pantheon, right?
Oh yeah, we've done there. Oh, seamless. You gotta know Pantheon.
I was a Danforth guy.
Yeah.
It's what I was.
Well, they cut the restaurant in half, right? So they cut the restaurant in half. And I just talked to Peter over there. I was like, hey, Peter, it's Shawn. He's like, oh, my God, I haven't seen you so long. I want to give you a hug. I'm like, okay, let's give a hug through the phone, So, I ordered, 6 Lavraki dinners for my family, right? So, we're good to go. But that's what it's about. Like, for me right now, it's just about serving the community. The other day we did we fed 900 frontline workers.
Okay.
I got my buddy Superfan to come out and with me at Scarborough Centenary Hospital and start the initiative with me over there, and it was great. We had all the politicians out, so I could never really harp on what's happening in the U.S. And not only the U.S., there's inequality everywhere. There's inequality in Hong Kong right now. I see England is trying to give Hong Kong 3 million Hong Kong residents British passports. You know what I mean? Yes, in the U.S., like the whole issue with the police and all that stuff, that stuff is real, and I don't want to take away from that, because those types of things do need to be recognized. But today, for example, Laura started a fire on Facebook and Instagram.
Fuck yeah, she did.
Equality. I actually got a call, Laura, from KMI Media, the director, and actually,
So, Shawn, let me stop you 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you share with the audience what Laura did today?
Well, she did 2 things. The social media presence that Laura has and that I have, it's very powerful. Like between the two of us, it's almost like 80,000 people. that are connected. Laura has about 30,000 LinkedIn connections, and I have just over 20,000. And when you start moving the needle by putting out your voice, people start to listen. So she started a fury on Facebook in regards to the broker panel that happened yesterday. And there was one mistake with that broker panel, that she said that it was 7 white males, and that wasn't true because I'm not a white male and I was on the panel. You know what I mean? So that's not 100% accurate. However, there were some females there, but I like the fact that Laura's out there pushing the envelope and starting the discussion. When I read at the end of 4 o'clock, I read that there was, I think 96 comments about people feeling marginalized, females not giving their voice. So, that's very important. You got to have a voice. You got to have equality. And, at the top of the mortgage industry, all the main players are the same type of people. But you know what? They were there longer. You know what I mean? So who am I to say? There are other, I know other people, blacks, Chinese that are there at the top too, but they're just not as visible. And that's by choice, right? But you know what? If you want to be at the top, then you got to be the best. You know what I mean? So not to say that they are the only candidates for that, but you know what? A lot of people just don't push the envelope like Laura does with regards to getting their name out there. And I think the discussion has to, take a step back from saying, hey, you never picked any females, to, hey, females, you need to make sure that you're at the forefront, because a lot of them aren't comfortable, pushing themselves out there. They don't feel that they have the voice or the strength to do it. So I don't want to take away from the positivity of the event yesterday, because it was a very well-received event. There's a lot of good information. The guy that I presented with, Jason Nugent at Neighborhood DLC, first time I chatted with him, I was like, hey, I met you before, but I can't remember where. But the conversation was great. So we want to keep the issues, but at the same time, there are other things that we need to discuss as well, to move the ball forward. And that is the fact that a lot of people just don't have a business registered. A lot of people don't know how to do their accounting properly. A lot of people are just not educated on how to run and operate a mortgage business. So we got to bring the conversation back to business, and let's bring it back to being excellent. And all the other things will fall into place as long as you're showing that you are that person who is a resource, because information is the currency. And if you don't have information to share, no one's going to pick you up. You know what I mean? So you have to push yourself out there.
I definitely know what you mean. I want to ask Laura. Laura, where do you want to take Shawn? Shawn is obviously a very up-to-date, intelligent, and politically charged dude. And if you allow me to go off right now, this isn't going to be good, because I'll take this fucking conversation way outside of Broker's Playbook.
So I get to interview Shawn?
Yeah, 100%, because I want you to keep it mortgage. And I want the youngsters out there, I want the guys who are going to look at Shawn. I can identify with Shawn as a business leader. I don't give two shits about the color of his skin, me, personally. But I can tell you that somebody starting out in the business right now, that's 26 or 28 years old and is starting out, does feel two ways, does feel he has a chip on his shoulder. I don't care where you want to take it, whether you want to take it down that route or just what does Shawn say to do to win. You take it, because I'm going to take the conversation somewhere else, and that's not what tonight's about. Shawn, we're coming back. Me and you, we're going to shoot an insight. It's going to get real, because I love that. I love your train of thought. I love where you're at. So, Laura, please take this away.
Well, I mean, by the way, Shawn, I finally registered a business 3 days ago. So I want you to tell people exactly why, as an independent mortgage advisor or broker, whatever they are, they need a corporate entity. Tell me exactly why.
Well, just the tax incentive, right? The Canadian tax system, and I just want to say hi to Peter White out in Australia. I haven't talked to you in a minute. I see that you're in.
What's up, Australia?
So, Peter, what are you doing? But the tax benefit, the Canadian tax code allows for, people that have a business to pay the corporation to pay a 12.5% tax on earnings. The personal tax, I think, starts at 22.5%. Just a tax incentive. Now, think about it like this. If you had a business and you paid yourself $20,000, then you would be eligible for the CEBA benefit for businesses, and you would have gotten $40,000 from the government that only $30,000 you'd have to pay back. So you're getting a 25% gift from the government through this COVID. And I've been telling people, register a business for years, and no one's done it. Not only that, you register and you pay yourself through your corporation, and maybe you hire a friend or family member. Like with Matrix, I have tons of my family working with me. I have tons of my friends working with me. It's a family business in all schemes of things. But now you have your corporation, you're paying yourself $50,000, $100,000. You could have gotten $100,000 grant, well, not grant, $100,000 credit from the government, from BDC, and you only have to pay back $75,000. And a lot of people don't know.
Okay, so Shawn, let's say you get this $100,000 as a corporate entity. What would you do with that money? / what did you do with that money?
That's a great question, Laura. Good job.
Well, you put the money into the business. You have to build infrastructure, right?
Okay, and what specifically? Where do you start?
Well, you have to build out, you have to look at your business. So for us, for example, I didn't end up getting the funds yet, but I applied for it. And why not? You know what I mean? So when you put that forward, you put that money to developing ways to make your business more efficient. So right now, everything is moving online. So we have to build out systems, for example, CRMs, cybersecurity, new technology, new systems, new computers, all this infrastructure to make your office, web ready or, virtual ready. You use that money to build your infrastructure. Like, people are not thinking about this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that the conversation, don't get sidetracked with all this stuff happening in the media. That's just to deter people from what the real focus is. And the real focus is that there's a real cash and inflation problem happening right now. All this money that's being printed is going to cause prices of everything to rise. People are waiting for the housing market to crash. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, right? Because with all that money that's in the system, food prices are going to go up. Gas prices have already gone up. House prices are going to follow suit. When all these people that have their stimulus money and their mortgage deferrals, when all those mortgage deferrals drop off in the next, 4 to 12 months, watch out, because all these people are going to be forced to sell.
I got a comment for you, Shawn, based on this grant money, the BDC money, the CERB money. Listen, I've been in business for a very long time. I just turned 40. I had my first restaurant. I opened it when I was 18. I've been in business for some time, so I'm very fluid in tax, accounting, and structure. Thankfully, that's served me well my whole life because of it. But I had a conversation the other day at the water cooler, call it. I was having a cigarette downstairs in my office. But I was talking to someone. I was like, did you apply for the loan? One of my team agents. My team agent goes, what do you mean? I said, there's up to $40K that you can access in 2 minutes through your bank. You qualify. Did you get the money? Did you look into it? He goes to me, no. I said, what's your funnel looking like? Like shit, is what he tells me. So what are you doing for marketing? Well, I'm not really making any money, so I don't really want to spend any money. So you see the self-fulfilling prophecy of nonsense.
No.
Yeah.
The cycle. This is the cycle of nonsense.
Yeah.
Tom will tell you
he
spent his last $2,000 on marketing.
But I want to make a specific point. So this broker is actually well-to-do. His funnel's looking like shit right now. He is not spending money right now, and that's the wrong mentality. But the money that the government is offering, he goes, I don't need that money. Why doesn't somebody who need that money get it? My comment is, you're thick. You're looking at it from the wrong set of glasses. This money that's going out right now is not given to you as a loan to put in your bank account for savings, bro. You got to make the economy work. Put the money in the system. Spend it on Facebook. Spend it on staff. Yeah. What are you doing?
You got to let it go.
Nobody said take it if you need it to take a trip with your wife. This is money for you to pour back into the system.
Yep, that's it.
To make your business hum, to do that thing that you weren't going to do otherwise. Right now, we're all pivoting and evolving. Look at us. We're on a new podcast for the industry because we can't meet up anymore.
Yep.
So, do you see what I'm saying? Like, these things cost money. Like, our time costs money. Everything costs money. So,
well, that's another thing too, right? People don't even know the value of their time. They don't even know how to charge for their services.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a whole education piece that's missing in this industry and in a lot of industries as well, right? People are not talking about it. They're getting sidetracked on things that really don't matter. And, you know, a lot of people are missing the boat here. Everyone I talked to about the $100,000, they're like, "What is that? I didn't know about that." They only know about the 40. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there that people could, you know, they could use for their business, and they're not. You know, if you have a charity, for example, there's a charity grant that you can get. Like there's so many tools out there, and people just gotta listen and look for that stuff and apply for it.
Amazing, man. Laura, do you have some Q&A for Shawn? I know the chat room lit up a few minutes ago. Do you want to look through the chat and maybe have some of those questions answered?
Yeah, sure. Let's check it out. Chat life. Why do you think people are not registering businesses even when you and other people are advocating for it? So what's their mental roadblock, I guess, Shawn? What do you think?
Well, they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. That's one. And another one is find them dumb, leave them dumb.
Classic. Fuck, man, you're hitting the nail on the head, Shawn. You're going to be back ASAP.
Classic.
ASAP, bro.
I tell people all the time, everything I'm telling you, I tell everyone.
Yep.
And you know what? If you don't want to listen to me, then that's on you. But I don't need to keep repeating myself. But I unfortunately I do, because you know people just don't want to take the lessons. They think it's, you know, it's not serious. I don't know what they think, but I know why I'm saying it, because I know, you know, I've been through a lot. I've been through audits. I've been through 3 audits in 2 years, 3 years ago. You know what I mean? I had a RICO audit. I own a real estate brokerage. I had a real estate audit. I had a fiscal audit through the mortgage brokerage. And then I had a tax audit, all within like a year, right? So I know what it is. So I know what it is to have your papers in order. I know what
well, I'm glad to see that you can still sit down.
Well, you know what? I never worried about it. You know what I mean? Because I knew that the audit for me was the next step, because my business was growing. So if I didn't go through the audit to see what issues I needed to correct, then maybe down the line as the business got bigger, then I would have a bigger problem. You know what I mean? So going through that in such a short period of time groomed me to be who I am today. That's why, you know, when I say stuff, people should listen. You know what I mean? Because I have the experience, and that's what this whole business is about. Any business that you're in, it's about experience, right? And if you don't have the experience, then you know what, you're gonna take a long walk on a short path, and that short path is going to be the amount of money that you can spend learning from, you know, or paying the cost for learning, as opposed to learning from someone else's mistakes.
Yes, bro. To our executive producer sitting quietly in the back, Bobby, I did see Colleen Phillips raised her hand. Colleen, do you want to come on live and ask your question to Shawn Allen? Bring her on in, Bobby. And this will be the last for the segment, because we got to bring in Dano. So let's bring Colleen in live, guys.
Yeah, Colleen has been unmuted. She can
go ahead,
ask
Colleen.
away.
Welcome to Broker's Playbook, girl.
Hey, Colleen. Can you talk?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go.
You know, actually, it was a mistake. I don't even know what I did. I've been playing around with the different tabs and buttons here, and I think I accidentally put my hand up. But I just got in, so I'm just trying to catch up on your conversation.
Well, Colleen, do you have any questions from the mortgage side or for a mindset side for Shawn? You're here, you're live. We have you on. What are your thoughts and feelings? What's your experience out there today, girl?
How are you spending your days, Colleen?
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get into a quiet area here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Colleen,
I mean, I've gone through a lot of leads. I've received a lot of leads. I was actually doing some work with Shawn last week. And there's a lot of people out there that are applying, but they're not really going anywhere. A lot of people are afraid of the uncertainty and they're putting things on hold.
Okay.
So currently I'm only working on one deal and I'm looking forward to investing in some more leads next week. So we'll see how that goes.
Great. And what are you doing for follow-up on your current leads? So the leads that you got this week that didn't pan out, what is happening with those leads? Tell me.
I'm following up with emails at least 3 times a day and calls as well, just to find out if they're still interested, if they're, if they found assistance elsewhere, or if they still want to go along. And I'm getting a response, which is good. So I'm kind of just gathering up everyone, all the leads that I have, so that when things sort of settle a little bit with this whole COVID crisis, I can then follow up with them again. And hopefully at that point, when they're ready to move forward, then I can be of assistance.
Don't you allow the COVID to be your own roadblock. If it's their roadblock, you eliminate it. People need to make moves every day. You need to create value in their lives and tell them how what you can do can save them $1,000, COVID, no COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that shit. You control the conversation. You control the value you create. Shawn, do you agree?
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Great.
Colleen, thank you for coming on, girl.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Called
Shawn,
out.
Yeah, Shawn, for me, like I'm speechless. You hit a lot of beautiful points today, man. I can't thank you enough for being here. Laura spoke very highly of you, and I can see why. So I really look forward to working with you, bro, and meeting you in person. And there's no doubt that we'll be crushing together, bro.
Yeah, anytime, man, anytime. You know what?
Come on back.
We gotta spread the knowledge. Like this show, it's a good platform, man. I like how you guys have it set up. It's very nice, and just continue the work. Continue the work, man.
We will.
Keep pushing. That's
will.
all I say.
We'll keep pushing every
Nothing
day,
can
all
stop
day,
it.
bro.
It's your mindset, like you said in the beginning.
All right. Well,
You know
Shawn.
what I mean?
Shawn,
All
bro.
right, so I'll see you guys.
If you can hang out even after or whatever it is you're doing, keep us on the background. The next panelist is Dan Cooper. The guy is a fucking legend. He's
All right, no problem. I'll listen.
fire.
I'll put myself on mute.
Amazing, man. Thank you, Laura. Bobby, bring on Dano, man.
Let's bring him on.
And there he is.
All right, I'll be on mute.
Thanks, Shawn.
Thanks, Shawn.
Dan Cooper.
Yo.
Before we get started, I'm going to ask Bobby if you can stop the Facebook live feed for 10 seconds, only to reset it, because I think it has a half hour. It's going to cut us off, and we're legit at 29 minutes. So, and just restart it.
Consider it done. Consider it done. Dan, welcome to the show, my man.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. How you guys doing?
2 thumbs up. It's a good day.
Amazing. You've never met Laura before, Dan, and Laura's she's a firecracker, man. And as I'm sure you heard in the beginning of this thing, she lit some shit up today, boy, on social, and I just think it's the perfect time. I think the world needs that drama. I don't want to call it drama because it sounds like shit, but the world needs that fire right now. People need to remember and be accountable for their actions. And I think people need to remember that our daughters are watching, our friends are watching, and it all goes down to, yes, we're all here to make money and do business and further our agendas, but we got to do it in a fucking way that people are proud of. people feel comfortable and they love their life and they're happy. And I'm happy, man. Like I'm happy with my career. I'm happy with my friends. And I want that to be the vibe everywhere. Laura, like, tell us a little bit about your experience today, man. Give us a little bit more context and color. No pun intended.
Well, Dan, Simi, you know that there's some brilliant women out there that are killing it. You said it yourself. Royal LePage, 75% of the top producers are women. Yeah? Okay. So this is like, we know women are boss. We know that they're killing it. We know that they have more emotional intelligence, more compassion. They're less likely to commit fraud. They're less likely to have unethical behavior. I've personally never been screwed over by a woman in business. Can't say the same for men. I'm not trying to make a divide. I'm saying that women have tons of value in the real estate and the financial services world, of course, in the world in general, and science and everything. But here we are, so let's just focus here. And so, you know, I've gone to CMP Magazine before and said, hey, why has 97% of the commentary blocks gone to men? That's a ridiculous percentage. And as far as the panel that was recently done for the Broker Connect conference yesterday, there was 7 white. I have no problem with white males. I swear to God, I don't. My dad is white. Okay, like, I don't have a problem with you guys. You guys worked really hard and all that. I'm just asking you to pass the mic, man.
Fuck yeah.
Just pass the mic. Shawn, pass the mic. Well, okay, I took it, but whatever. He didn't mind. And and is the same for any other leader, you know what I mean? So like Dan, Simos, like, if I don't know what the deal is with you guys, but for some reason the journalists are just lazy and they go through the same Rolodex of the same people, and these are the only people that are seen as industry experts and thought leaders. And time after time after time, there's been panels and conferences and keynote speeches and so on that have been at least 80-20 men, if not 100% men. So this morning I see this panel and I see 100% men. Again, I wasn't actually there for the full conference, which was actually a 6-hour thing, but what was advertised was these 7 people. So based off of that, I said, hey, I thought we went through this, guys. Like, I've literally called you out for this before, and here you are doing the same thing. And they had excuses. Oh, we only had 2 weeks. We only had this, that. Oh, we give you guys an issue. You know, we're trying. I give you the mic. And, you know, people came out with pitchforks. I didn't mean for that to happen. I didn't want this guy's, you know, someone that reached out to me, the senior VP of Key Media. I didn't want his head on a stick per se, but, you know, he took a lot of heat. And he did call me, and I was happy to take that call and sort of, you know, say, hey man, like I didn't want you to have a bad day per se, but you know, you gotta admit, like, this is a thing. We talked about it before. It's still happening. Don't be so lazy.
So I'll tell you, Laura, last night I was at Dan's house. And let me give you an example of what truly successful, and this is why I have so much respect for you, Dan, and I'm not talking shit right now. Think of what just happened today with Laura. And think of last night when we got together. Like, we're working, to cut the long story short, myself and Dan are working on a really big initiative, okay? A business initiative. We had to gather last night. Physical distancing respected. However, we had to meet. And we had your team there, Dan. Who is your business coach, male or female?
Female.
Marketing director, male or female?
Female.
Head of administration, male or female? I'm not talking head of administration writing notes and Post-its. I'm talking running your entire back end, male or female?
Female.
What the fuck do we need to talk about? So there is a reason, in my opinion, any business that does well, it doesn't have to be women. That's not what I'm getting at. But it's not a coincidence that every single really deeply successful business has perfect diversity in both sexes in the workplace and a well-diversified cultural workplace. Because you cannot do business in the GTA successfully if you're stuck on some kind of a trip of bigotry or old ways. I am so sorry. It's not going to work anymore. So unless you really understand and respect your fellow man and respect the business that you're in, you're going to need Chinese people, you're going to need Vietnamese people, you're going to
Yep.
need Ethiopian people, you're going to need black people from England versus black people from New York. And like, you can call it all games, this, that, and the other. This is the city that you live in, bro. This is the country that you chose to live in, bro. So you need to adapt. You need to respect the ability of your fellow man and your fellow woman to progress. So I think we're going to get into listing right away because we have to. But I mean, I think these are important fire topics right now. If you look within my organization, my director of sales and marketing, somebody who has helped elevate our entire business since her arrival, Laura Stewart, for example, is a fucking G. Ruthless. And I mean, she has to put up with my shit and my ego, my partner's ego and his shit that comes with it, and a whole bunch of other people. Our admin, Shemi, our accounting, fully female, the whole structure around us. We just happen to be male and partnered, but our entire organization is structured around very strong women.
So, Simos, I challenge you and I challenge Dan that the next time someone comes for you and says, hey, will you be on our X panel or will you speak on this? That you pass the mic.
No doubt.
Pass the mic. Seriously, give them the spotlight. Give it a try. Get them to practice it, right? They're going to feel empowered by it. They're going to feel appreciated by it. And, you know, I know they're doing great in the background. Try them in the foreground.
Challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. You will meet the powerhouse of women.
Good. I want to see their faces.
Got it. You got it.
Good.
You got
Dan,
it.
you're up.
Dano, you're here to drop some serious knowledge, bro. Respectfully, I asked you to share the secret sauce of who you are, what makes you who you are. Laura, I want you to ask anything surrounding mindset because it's your favorite subject. You thrive it. And I definitely want you to get the best out of Dan. Do that for us.
Okay, Dan. There's been a 60% decrease in volume in real estate. What have you been doing if not selling?
Well, good question. And even before I answer that, I just want to step back to, we were talking a little bit about multiculturalism. And that's one thing that I really embraced in my team. I have 12 agents on the ground, and I think we probably speak 12 to 13 languages. So, you know, that's the way it is these days. So first thing I thought about is I want to be able to pick up the phone and speak to anybody, you know, and if it's not me direct, it's through me, through one of my agents. So that's really created a pretty cool thing with our group because, you know, it doesn't matter who calls, Russian, Mandarin, Spanish, French, we got it covered. So I just had to throw that.
We speak your language. Come to me.
Yeah. But, you know, back to current events. Yeah, I mean, the market's taken a bit of a break. But, you know, honestly, we'll look back at this as a blip in the radar. I hate to say that, but it will be like that. I would compare it to, you know, the financial meltdown we had in 2008. I mean, at the time, it was ugly and we thought it was here forever. But, you know, prices went down probably 18% in the 905 area code, but they bounced back. And who remembers 2008, what happened? I mean, you know, it was a blip in the radar. And so I'm looking at COVID as the same way, to the point where I kind of had my drop dead date of June 1. And so I've got my team assembled. We're back firing on 8 cylinders right now. And we're embracing the new reality. And obviously Ford's, you know, set us back a little bit by, you know, saying the emergency goes to the end of June, which doesn't help. But any way you look at it, you know, people want to transact real estate. They've been waiting on the sidelines patiently for 3 months now because they're just waiting for some good news. And who's going to buy, who's going to sell when the market's going to hell? And we don't know what's going to happen. And so it's just, we've changed the tide. The page has turned. I mean, it's going to get really good. And to be honest, there's a lot of built up momentum, and you know, there's a lot of real estate that has to be transacted probably in a very small window because if we're busy now, say June, July, August, who knows what's going to happen later? And, you know, you hear about these second waves and all this negative news that could come. So, you know, we just got to get out there and crush it for the next few months.
Yeah. So have you been expanding your operation to a degree? Like, have you doubled down in terms of marketing and training and things like that? Like, I know for Simos and myself, like, we both kind of just went back to the drawing board and said, okay, you know, how can we improve our systems and our processes and our team cohesion and our communication? And how can we be that guide to our clients? So, I mean, for us at Matrix, we've been doubling down on training. Like, we have a captive audience. Don't tell me that you're too busy to come to this webinar. Like, come on. You got time. But to what you said, and I'm sure you both know this because you're all over real estate stats, GTA real estate has doubled every 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So what you say about this being a blip on the radar is absolute truth. You know, you took a little break. That's it. But as one of Canada's leading real estate teams with a super diverse, you know, team as well, which is fantastic, I'm wondering, how have you been dealing with like listings and showings and things like that during COVID? Have you continued business to some degree?
Well, I mean, there's several questions in there, but, you know, from a marketing perspective, I've always been a big marketer. You know, you spend money to make money. So, you know, in the beginning, I would spend $3 to make a buck, but you got to get your name, your brand, your image, you know, your whole reputation. You got to get it rocking and rolling. So I've always been a strong advocate of that, and I still am. And obviously the last couple of months, it's been more of a virtual thing we've been doing. Like last week, we sold 3 homes. Funny enough, they all went for over list in multiple bids.
Crazy, right?
We didn't really touch or feel or see the listings because we're doing as much virtual as we can, respecting, you know, social distancing and, you know, the fact that I can't even get into my office because my office is still closed. No open houses. I mean, yeah, we're a real essential service, aren't we? Our hands are tied, but go get them, right?
Go get them, bro.
Go get them. Can't do anything, but, you know, we are. And so, to be honest, I look at this whole pandemic as an opportunity, and it's much like, is the glass empty or is it half full? And
who wants to talk mindset?
My God, it's all mindset.
Mindset.
If you take the top agents in the country, and I'm not just talking real estate sales, but any kind of sales position, it's all about mindset. You know, you have to have that burning innate desire to succeed. And if you have that, you're going to be able to sell, you know, ice cream to an Eskimo. It's just that real estate is a really good, it's been a nice space to be in. And I've always been in the real estate space, not since the beginning. I was in pharmaceutical sales in the beginning, but I bought my first house when I was 21, and I've always enjoyed bricks and mortar. I get it. I understand it. I love it. Never thought about selling it. I was investing in it, but here I am. You know, 30 years later, I've transacted a lot of real estate, but it's been a good ride. And I just like it because every day I show up to work, you know, trying to change how the world runs. And I'm always trying to add something new to the existing machine. So I'm always, you know, the first guy to embrace new technology, first guy to have a new website. You know, you always got to be thinking out of the box and growing the team. And more importantly, you got to have this passion for the business. And if you have that passion, look at Simos, he's just bubbling all the time with ideas. So, you know, if you have that mindset, it's a great space to be in, with or without a pandemic. Come on, bring it on.
I have a question. How do you start your mornings? How do you start your mornings, Dan? You obviously come to win every day. How do you start your days?
Well, I don't know.
And what time do you wake up?
I think, breathe, eat, sleep, real estate. So when you're doing that 24/7, it's not work. It's fun. It's pleasure. It comes naturally. When do I get up? Well, it depends what I did the night before, but, you know, let's go with 7:30. You know, it's, you know, and I always,
mean. Okay.
I always, I get my computer out and I write down what I have to accomplish. You know, I input what I need to accomplish, and I don't go to bed until it's done. So I always put a to-do list together and I do that to-do list. And I'm always looking for ways to grow the business. So if I sell one home, I list 2 more. You know, it's just the way it works. And
I'm just gonna apologize to our audience. I'm gonna rip a video with you on listing mastery this week separately. I want to continue down where Laura's taking you because I think it's way more fucking important to
Right
be
on.
able to get up in the morning and be inspired. You're inspiring, Dan. So I'm sorry for interrupting, Laura. We're not covering listings. Let's spend the next 15 minutes picking his brain and inspiring people. I promise to everybody in our audience, me and Dan will make a video this week, and Dan will give you his secret sauce. This is not a teaser. I just want this to continue. Go.
Good. All right. So you write your to-do list first thing in the morning after breakfast?
Yeah, and then typically I'm on calls. I mean, I like to be in front of people. You know, if I'm the front line person, I'm always the first point of contact. I will always take a team member with me on a call, and then as soon as we've bonded and we've got the business, then I'll step out, because the goal for me is to hire people that are as good as and better than I am, especially in certain sectors. Right. You know, so, I mean, I hire good people around me, and then I'm not as important, I suppose I could say. And then as the years go by, my business has transitioned to a point where I work on it more than I am in it. And there's a big difference there. And, you know, it's funny because this COVID thing, like, nobody's working near as hard as they used to, but we're still getting work done. It's just, it's all different now. And look at Zoom meetings. I didn't know what a Zoom meeting was 4 months ago. And I think I probably did 3 or 4 Zoom meetings. Like, it's beautiful. So, you know, embrace the new technologies and take advantage of technology in your business, right? You know, you don't have, like, I remember in the old days, 20 years ago, when there was an offer, an agent would always call me and say, I have an offer for you. It'd be Friday night, of course. And they'd want to get together at the vendor's house and present the offer at the kitchen table at 9 o'clock at night. And boy, did I change that fast. I always made
That was my parents. My parents are both real estate agents, and I did not see them on weekends or evenings at all.
Well, back in the day, you did it all on your own, and you were burnt out by the time you were 30 years old, and that's that. So now it's a completely different systemic approach to it, where, you know, you build the team and you build the right people to surround you. And I've got great administration. And so, you know, and to be honest, the general public demands and expects a lot more too. So one person can't wear all the hats.
No, not one person can wear all the hats. Not in a world that the consumer expectation has become so high, because the consumer is more educated than ever. And I'm talking about, I can't speak for the whole world, but I will speak of the Canadian citizen. I will speak of the GTA resident. As the income gets higher, the household income in the GTA has doubled in the last 20 years. And it's not a coincidence. It's because the immigrants and the migrants from the other parts of Canada coming into the GTA are better educated, white collar versus service industry versus blue collar and manufacturing.
And they're not scared to work.
That's correct. But what I'm getting at is the displacement and change in demographic in the GTA has caused a much savvier business experience to be expected. You're not pulling the fucking wool over anyone's eyes in Toronto right now. They're pulling the fucking wool over yours. They'll interview 16 people in a day. You think you got the business on lockdown? Think again.
Yeah, it's a completely different space these days. And, you know, what you did 5 years ago, you're not doing now. Just throw it all out and start fresh.
So give me a little bit of your magic, bro. Clearly you're a guy who gets her done. You were saying earlier, you're talking like, I make my calls. I need to be in front of people, and it's a pleasure. It's not a job. So my biggest thing, what burns me inside, I have a team of 33 agents. And I can tell you that 80% of them have adopted working skills, and they've adopted the technology we're offering, and they're doing really good. I still have a cool 20%, which equates to 5 or 6 people in this case, okay? That in my face, they'll tell me that they're going to make their calls. But I know as a fact by looking at their funnels that they're not.
Right.
If you're not willing to put in work when you're 25 or you're 30, and Dan Cooper, who doesn't need a fucking dollar. I'm not talking about net worth and nonsense, but you're not doing this for the money, Dan. You could have retired 10 years ago if you wanted to. Let's be real. To live a good life. You do this because you like success. You like the business. You love people. How do we transfer that energy into somebody getting into the business, or they're 5 years in the business and they just can't get on the phone? Like, how can I tell? Like, if you don't call, if you don't ask, you will not get. If you don't have it in you to go belly to belly and make your fucking calls, how can you expect a different result? If you have no ego in saying I'm hiring guys who are better than me, I'm making my calls in the morning. Why can my guy who did 200K last year thinks he's a fucking shooter, doesn't have to make calls?
Yeah.
Tell me about it, bro. Why is it you make the calls?
Yeah, well, not everybody's cut out to be a real estate agent either. It's tough slugging, and as you said a minute ago, when I get called out on new business, sometimes they call 5, 6, 7 agents. I can't believe it, but they do. And so, to be honest, if I could sum it up in the 2 words, it's a value proposition. You need to stand out, and if you don't have a real compelling reason how you stand out, it's not going to happen. So, big thing is communication. So as soon as I come in contact with somebody new, I fire off a pre-listing package to them. I'm communicating to them via email. I get their cell phone so I can text, because you're a lot up close and personal when you text. And that's what people do these days. But I still follow it with a phone call too. So I'm hitting all those mediums, and I'm leaving messages. I even leave a message just so I have a message on their machine. But you got to be in their face until you get the business. And if you're not, somebody else will be in their face for you, and you'll be displaced. So you gotta have a lot of really good communication going out, and you got to be the first to the table, and you got to have a really compelling value proposition. Your marketing, how many Google reviews do you have? What do your feature sheets look like? Tell me about your business, and I spend 90% of the time telling them about what I'm up to. And I really focus a lot on my philanthropy, because I'm at the point now where I try to give a lot back to the neighborhoods that have, supported me. And so I'm a big brother. I do a lot of work with sick kids, the Easter Seals, the Oakville Center for the Performing Arts. I'm involved in many.
You were fucking cooking last week, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, it was National World Hunger Day last week. And so we supported this group called Cooks Who Feed. And so I think I spent almost $10,000 on aprons, because every apron is handmade by some poor woman in India. And every apron that I buy is feeding 100 families worldwide. So I bought into that. And so that's my money working for me. I get the money in and I spend it back out again, but at least it's going to good causes.
God bless you. I mean it.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. So I feel like I'm on the same page as you for sure. Like, at some point, making money for the sake of making money isn't it, right? It's not it. That's not going to fulfill you. That's not going to keep you motivated. And people need to see that you're more than just a mortgage or real estate agent. We're not, like, social media isn't for blasting people with every listing you have or every hot new pre-construction offer. Like, you actually have to show your personality. You have to show your heart, and social entrepreneurship is something that's going to be far more, prevalent in the future coming forward. I would say Dan is definitely one of the people that have been on the leading edge of that for sure. So that's very heartwarming to hear, and it really does just pay back in droves, right? Because people don't want to deal with someone like that's just here to make a buck. They want someone that actually
see that a mile away.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can smell it. They can smell it. Absolutely.
Now, when I'm in front of people, I spend all my time getting to know them and getting, up close and personal, and getting into their heads about what's important to them and commonalities. And I try to assimilate them. And I follow their body language. I'm
mirroring.
I'm all in. It's when I'm in front of somebody, you got me. So let's talk. And at the end of it, then if they so choose, then I get into business and talk numbers, but that's after the fact.
But you're present. You're fucking present.
Right on.
Be fucking present.
I like that. Let me say that. Be fucking present.
This isn't client facing, guys. This is real. This is to our esteemed colleagues.
Yeah, they're all right with it.
They're all right. I'm going out of my way because I want you to remember somebody who's in the business 30 years who has made an example out of this fucking business in excellence. You've taken the number one spot 7 times?
Yeah,
Really?
number 2 7 times.
So what I'm trying to do is I posted this in like, I'm part of the Royal LePage Network and so is Dan, but I mean, like, there's Remax, there's all these companies and everybody's out striving to do their best, and everybody's, you know, like, you hit a wall sometimes, you get tired sometimes, COVID got you going sometimes, your wife or your partner or whatever can get you going sometimes, but like, we got a job to do, bro. We got a job to do.
Yeah.
And our job is serious. Like, on my way to this podcast, a client's calling me while I'm getting cut off in the elevator because I got to come upstairs. I got to call her back to apologize that the elevator cut her off because I got to get to my podcast. But if you think I'm going to let go of a deal and disappoint a client and tarnish that experience for us to jibber jabber to our friends, you got another motherfucking thing coming.
Yep.
And it's not about the transaction.
Yeah.
Transactions are done every day once you get into the rhythm.
Yeah.
But I won't be able to sleep at night if Anna Marone thinks that I punked her in the elevator.
Totally.
Yeah.
Dan Cooper is present at his listing appointment.
There you go.
He's not going to close them. He closes them because he's present. They want to be with him.
Yeah.
But, you know, you did say the magic word there, close. And there's a lot of agents that have, you know, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, but they don't have the 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And so when I hire somebody, I'll take an 8 out of 10 and I'll teach them the other 1 or 2. And, but you know, if you ain't closing, right, you ain't in business. So I don't care how you close. I mean, real estate can be done 10 different ways by 10 different people, and they all work. Trust me on that. But you all have to close. And so maybe I close subtly, softly through getting to know my people and talking philanthropy or the weather or what have you. But I am closing. I always invite myself. I always re-invite myself back for the next call. If you don't land the business that night, I've got a commitment from them. I'm coming back.
Dano, that's it for me. We have a commitment to our fellow agents that we can't fuck with them with their time. So it's 8:59. Last statement for me is I love every single one of you. The world is reopening. Keep your fucking heads up. I'm here for anyone, anytime. I can speak for Dan only because I know that if anyone in this network has a question for him, he would answer it in 2 seconds. Laura, I want the last word to be from our friend and our guest, Dan. Give us your thoughts on today. Give a piece of advice to our audience. And where are you at closing statements?
Closing statements, I would say, yeah. Dan, thank you so much for coming. I think that you really are such a dynamic person, and you showed what being a true professional is, which is, you know, leading with heart, leading with a client-focused business plan. So thank you for sharing your business model and your passion with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Dano, give every agent out there one last tip, and we'll say goodnight. Last thoughts from Dan Cooper.
Oh my God. Just, I don't know. Just be full of piss and vinegar and just be high on life. And that exuberance will show off to your clients. Like if you're excited, if you're happy, if you're dialed in and you're humming along, the buzz, the fervor, you know, the feeling, the energy, the positive vibes will flow. And so that's what I'm going to tell you.
Fucking A. Again, thank you, Laura. for
Thank
being
you.
beside me and making me look better than I actually look.
You're done.
Dan Cooper, Shawn Allen, if you're around, if you're listening, thank you again. Dano, you're a masterpiece, bro. And we're gonna shoot that listing video this week. We'll get it out to everyone.
Nice.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night.